Everyone, it's Mr. Richards here, and I'm going to be taking you through a really basic overview of Onshape. In this video, we're going to attempt to create a three-dimensional rectangle. So here we go. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click Create in the upper left-hand corner, and I'm going to make a document. I'm going to call this rectangle, or I should say rectangular Prism, because that's what we're going to make. So click Create. Okay, now I'm in Onshape, and there's a couple of basic movement tools that we want to be aware of. First of all, I have my mouse here, and I have my left and right buttons. If I clicked on my left button without clicking on any tools, I'll drag this little box around. If I click on my right button and hold it and drag, I'm going to be moving the view around. Now notice as I move the view around, you'll see that our main picture changes here, but we also have this little box changing on the top. You can also move the view by clicking the little buttons on this box. And if you want to just see one of the faces, you can click on it, okay? Kind of navigate that way. All right. Okay, now if you ever get stuck in a view that you are getting a little lost, like how do I get back to where I was at the beginning, you can right click and click isometric, and that'll bring us back to the beginning, okay, kind of where we started at. All right, you'll notice that we have three axes here. We call them front, right, and top. We're going to be drawing our rectangle on the top axes, so we can get rid of the front and right by hovering over them and clicking on the little eye icon. And notice that that gets rid of them, but it's not deleting them, we're just hiding them. Now we can see the top. Now since we're going to be drawing a rectangle on this top, and we're going to be working in 2 dimensions to start with, it'd be really helpful if we were looking at this like straight on. So I'm going to put my mouse in this area, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to drag down to the very bottom where it says View Normal To. When I click on that, it's going to put it right in front of me, so it's very easy to draw a shape here. Okay, so now I have the basics. I'm ready to draw my rectangle, okay? So what I'm going to do is create a sketch. So I'll go up on the top here and click Sketch. Now it's going to ask me what plane or what axes do I want to draw the sketch on. And that's as simple as just clicking on the only one that we have here left, which is the top. So click on that, and you'll notice now we have sketch plane, top plane. All right, now we're ready to do our sketch. And you notice that I have some different tools up here than I had before. These tools are 2-dimensional tools, okay? Now I have a line tool, a rectangle tool, a circle tool, a arc tool, a polygon tool, and all sorts of other things up here, okay? I'm going to be making a rectangle. Now there's 2 different ways to make a rectangle. I can make a rectangle by drawing from corner to corner, or I can click the down little option here and do a center point rectangle where I'm drawing it from the center. That's what we want to do in this case. So I'm going to click on my little center thing here, and then I'm going to drag out, and there is my rectangle. Now I drag out and click, and I've got my rectangle. Now I have 2 dimensions. I have the length and I have the width, okay? If I hover over one of them, I can change the numbers by just typing them in on the keyboard. I want my rectangle to be 3 inches wide, so I'll type 3. And I want it to be 2 inches high, so I'll hover so this little box appears around it. See that? And I'll change that to 2. Now we have a rectangle that is exactly 3 inches wide and 2 inches high, okay? So that's a rectangle. Now, we're just doing a very basic shape here. We're not going to add any other features to it, so I'm just going to say we're good with this shape. Now I'm looking straight on. I want to tilt this a little bit so I can see what I'm going to do next, which is going to be extrude. Okay, so we're going to take this from a 2-dimensional shape and turn it into a 3-dimensional shape. Oh, and by the way, since we have drawn our shape now on the top plane, we can hide that top plane so it's not in the way anymore. So we just have our shape. All right. Now it is 3-dimensional, so it looks like a trapezoid when I drag it around different ways, but remember, we're trying to look at the top face right there. All right, now if you are wanting to like move this from the right side of the screen to the center, we just press and hold Control, then click with our right mouse button, and then we can drag it, okay? All right, so now I'm going to extrude, so I'm going to tilt it a little bit. There we go, just tilting it so I can see that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click Extrude. That's right here. So I'll click that, and it's gonna ask me what I want to extrude. And all I'm gonna do is click this. And you'll notice it gives me a preview, okay? Now, we're gonna leave everything the way it is. We're adding material, we'll leave it as blind, but we're gonna change the depth from 1 inch to 0.5 inches. Type in 0.5 and hit enter. And you'll see that now our preview has changed, and now we can see that our rectangle is 3 inches wide, 2 inches tall, and 1/2 inch deep. I'm good with that, so I'm gonna click the green check mark, and there is our shape. We zoom out, we can see that we have a 3-dimensional rectangular prism built in Onshape. So there you go. That's a very simple basic tutorial on how to do an Onshape 3-dimensional shape.